Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to all. Today is the continuation of the chapter number 10, that was protein drug binding. In last lectures, we have discussed about the brief introduction of the protein drug binding, mechanism of the protein drug binding, which will be irreversible or reversible drug protein binding, binding of drugs to the blood components, means plasma protein drug binding, and binding of drugs to the blood cells. Next, we have studied about the tissue binding of drugs, because there is two major components in the body to act as a binding site for the drugs. The one is the blood and the next will be the tissue binding. So we have studied these two factors in detail. Next, we have studied about the determination of the protein drug binding, and for the determination of protein drug bindings there are two techniques: indirect techniques and direct techniques. In indirect techniques we have studied that there is dialysis, ultracentrifugation, ultrafiltration, and gel filtration are the processes which are involved. Next, we are studied about the factors affecting protein drug binding, and it will discussed detailed in the previous lectures that there are drug related factors, protein or tissue related factors, drug interactions, and patient related factors. Today we are going to continue this chapter. So let's start with the significance of protein or tissue binding of the drugs, or other words, it can be called as application of the protein drug binding. So binding of drug to protein is very important and beneficial in following purposes. Number one is the absorption. The absorption equilibrium is attained by transfer of the free drug from the site of administration into the systemic circulation, and when the concentration in these two compartments becomes equal, following equilibrium, the transfer process may stop. But in binding of absorbed drug to the plasma proteins decreases free drug concentration in the systemic circulation and disturbs such an equilibrium. Concentration gradient is developed that is responsible for more drug absorption. This effect is useful in case of ionized drugs which are transported with difficulty. Next is the systemic solubility of the drugs. Some drugs are not readily soluble in systemic circulation. Water soluble drugs, neutral endogenous macromolecules such as heparin, several steroids, and oil soluble vitamins are not readily soluble in the circulation. But the plasma protein binding cause circulation and distribution to the tissues. They are generally bound to lipoproteins, which act as a vehicle for the much hydrophobic compounds. It means if we want to increase systemic solubility of the drug, the one possible way is to enhance solubility by the transformation of the drug molecules to bind with the protein in the body, so that these protein molecule will act as a vehicle for the such hydrophobic compounds. Next is the distribution. Plasma protein binding restricts the entry of the drug that have specific affinity for the certain tissues. This prevents accumulation of the large fraction of drugs in such a tissues and such subsequent toxic reactions. A protein bound drug in particular does not cross the blood brain barrier, the placental barrier, and the glomerulus. So these factors will also kept in mind while designing a dosage regime for a patient. Now next is the metabolism. Many drugs are metabolized in the systemic circulation by various enzymes, but due to the plasma protein binding of the drug is not metabolized easily. Metabolism causes the decreased amount of the drug in the circulation and less pharmacological effect, which is prevented by the protein binding. So here, by avoiding metabolism, the drugs which have protein binding may be beneficial. Next is the elimination. Only the unbound drug is capable of being eliminated. This is because the drug protein complex cannot penetrate into the liver. The large molecular size of the complex also prevent it from the getting filtered through the glomerulus. Thus, drugs which are more than 95% bound are eliminated slowly because they have long elimination half-lives. Tetracycline, which is only 65% bound, has the elimination half-life of 8.5 hours in comparison to 15.1 hours of doxycycline, which is 93% bound to the plasma protein. So, by comparison of the plasma protein binding, one can predict the elimination of the drug or the reason behind the slow or fast elimination of the drug. Next is the plasma protein binding for the diagnosis of different diseases. So, plasma protein binding of drug can be used as diagnostic tool for various diseases. For example, the chlorine atom of chloroquine, when replaced with the radio-labeled I or iodine 131, can be used to visualize melanomas of the eye, since chloroquine has tendency to interact with the melanin of eye. Next is the thyroid gland has greater affinity for iodine containing compounds, and hence any disorders of the same can be detected by tagging such a compound with the radioisotope of the iodine. So our next application of the plasma protein binding is the therapy and drug targeting. The binding of drugs to lipoproteins can be used for site-specific delivery of the hydrophilic moieties. This is particularly useful in cancer therapies, since certain tumor cells have greater affinity for LDL, where LDL stands for low density lipoproteins, than normal tissues. Thus, binding of suitable anti-neoplastic to it can be used as therapeutic tool. So, high density lipoproteins or HDL is similarly transported more to adrenal and testes. An example of site-specific drug delivery in cancer treatment is ostramastine. Ostradiol binds selectively and strongly to the prostate, and thus prostate cancer can be treated by attaching nitrogen mustard to the ostradiol for targeting of prostate glands. So, drug targeting prevents normal cells from getting destroyed. Now, coming towards our the most important topic of this chapter, that is kinetics of the protein drug binding. So, if P represents protein and D the drug, then applying law of mass action to the reversible protein drug, we can write P plus D is equal to PD. Here the double arrow stands for reversible reaction. At equilibrium, Ka or association rate constant is equal to concentration of the protein drug complex divided by concentration of the protein multiplied by concentration of the drug. So, as you know that by rearranging the equation, the protein drug complex concentration can be found by knowing the association rate constant and concentration of the protein molecules and concentration of the drug. In these equations, P stands for concentration of the free proteins, D stands for concentration of the free drug, PD is the concentration of protein drug complex, Ka is the association rate constant, Kd is the dissociation rate constant, where Ka is more than Kd indicates forward reaction, protein drug binding is favored. If the Pt is the total concentration of the protein present, bound and unbound, then Pt or total protein concentration will be equivalent to the protein drug complex concentration plus protein concentration. Now, if R is the number of the moles of the drug bound to the total moles of the protein, then R is equal to PD or protein drug complex concentration divided by total protein concentration is equal to PD over PD plus P. Substituting the value of the PD from equation 3 in equation 5. This is the equation 3, and from this equation the value of the PD can be substituted in equation 5. Now becomes R is equal to KAPD over KAPD plus P is equal to KAD, which is the association rate constant multiplied by drug concentration over KAD plus 1. Equation 6 holds when there is only one binding site on the protein and the protein drug complex is 1:1 ratio. If more than one or number of binding sites is available per mole of the protein, then R is equal to NKa into drug concentration over Ka drug concentration plus 1. Note that this is the free drug concentration. The value of association constant Ka and the number of the binding sites N can be obtained by plotting equation 7 in 4 different ways. Number 1 is the direct plot. It is made by plotting R versus drug concentration as shown in the figure, it is important that all binding sites are occupied by the drug, the protein is saturated and the plateau is reached. At the plateau or R is equal to N, when R is equal to N by 2, drug concentration is equal to 1 over Ka. So as you can see in the figure that this is the graph between the free drug concentration on x-axis and moles of the drug bound per mole of the protein or R on the y-axis. As you can see in the figure that this is the line or dotted line will show the saturation of binding sites at high concentration. You can see that by increasing the drug concentration, the protein binding will be increased. As you can see in the figure that in the start, if the free drug concentration will be increasing in the body, then after some time at the point of saturation of binding site at high concentration, there is no binding site on the protein molecule, so the free drug concentration will be constant. Next way of the representing the protein drug binding is the sketched plot. This plot is made by transforming equation 7 into the linear form. Thus, as the equation 7 indicates that R is equal to NKAD over KAD plus 1. So, by rearranging this equation or multiplying this factor on the right hand side, the equation becomes R plus RKAD is equal to NKAD. So, R is equal to NKAD minus RKAD. This factor will be replaced in the. Therefore, R over D is equal to NKA minus RKA. As you can see that by taking common the drug concentration from this equation, the equation becomes R over D is equal to NKA minus RKA. So a plot of R over D versus R yields a straight line as shown in the figure below. Slope of the line is equal to minus Ka or y-intercept is equal to Nka and x-intercept is equal to N. So here you can see that by plotting R over D on y-axis and R on x-axis, the straight line will be obtained and the slope of this straight line will be the Ka or minus Ka. Minus indicates that association rate constant will be decreasing. So decreasing line will show that moles of the drug bound per mole of the protein or R will be decreasing after specific time interval. Next is the Claude's plot or Lineweaver-Brook plot, double reciprocal plot. The reciprocal of the equation 7 yields 1 over R is equal to 1 over NKAD plus 1 over N. A plot of 1 over R versus 1 over D yields a straight line with the slope 1 over NKA and y-intercept 1 over N as shown in the figure below. So here you can see that this graph is between 1 over R on y-axis and 1 over D on the y-axis, while the last plot will be between the R over D and between the R on x-axis. Last plot is the Hitchcock plot. It is made by rewriting equation 9 as NKAD over R is equal to 1 plus KAD. Dividing both sides by NKA gives D over R is equal to 1 over NKA plus D over N. Equation 11 is the Hitchcock equation according to which a plot of D over R versus D yields a straight line with the slope 1 over N and y-intercept 1 over NKA as shown in the figure below. This is also a straight line. So these four plots will be based on the different parameters on x-axis and y-axis. By plotting different types of the data on these graphs, we can give the required results. This is all about our today's lecture. Thank you.